The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
It only makes sense that the most 420 friendly city in North America has a dude by the nickname of Reefer Madness.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, happy Kiefer Sherwood Day, baby. You'll always remember this day, the day before Halloween, as Kiefer Sherwood Day, man. One of the most incredible dudes to put on a Canuck jersey. Yeah, I'm feeling it, man. Kiefer Sherwood getting the job done. I'm Trevor Beggsy here on Locked On Canucks. Kiefer Sherwood and the Vancouver Canucks getting a 4-3 win over the St. Louis Blues. And the round of applause for Kiefer Sherwood, man, for making all of us smile. Getting them Reefer Madness going, baby. Oh, Kiefer Sherwood, baby. He was the story for your Vancouver Canucks tonight. When this team, now with Brock Boeser going down 33 seconds into his first shift of the game, now having 9 players out of their lineup, including their point leader in Connor Garland, their second best right winger in Brock Boeser, their Filipino, Quinn Hughes, Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, Mancini, Forbert, Teddy Bluger. I'm probably forgetting someone in there. So the bodies are dropping like flies for your Vancouver Canucks right now. But tonight, it didn't necessarily matter because the Canucks had Kiefer Sherwood. And man, oh man, I love it, man, for a couple of reasons. Now, I started thinking about my 2 favorite Canuck players of all time tonight, okay? Not to get sentimental here for a second. But Kiefer Sherwood with the 44 on his back, doing Todd Bertuzzi proud, man. You know, Todd Bertuzzi, also a guy that was unwanted by his team, the New York Islanders, when he got traded to the Canucks, ends up being a star in Vancouver. Kiefer Sherwood now on his 5th NHL team. This guy was an unwanted character in NHL circles for whatever reason, you know? Just a late bloomer. Like, what does he really bring to the table? And Kiefer Sherwood grinded. And now he might have an argument for being the Canucks MVP of the season so far. I know it's really between him and Thatcher Demko, but how could you ignore Kiefer Sherwood, who now has 9 goals on the season, tied for the league lead with, Nathan MacKinnon, Jack Hughes, also Morgan Geekie and Pavel Dvoriev. But no one expected Kiefer Sherwood to do this. No one expected Kiefer Sherwood to be one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. And I know he's shooting at like 30%. He's probably not going to keep this up. Come on. But it's an amazing story for your Vancouver Canucks. And again, when you win on nights like this, and this is a night where you say, screw the stats, screw the numbers. They don't matter. The Canucks had Mackenzie McEachran, the Abbotsford Canucks line. You know, looking good tonight, but that's a young NHL line. Atu Ratu in the lineup. Lucas Reichel wasn't even wanted by the Chicago Blackhawks. Drew O'Connor yet to score a goal yet this season. So was Evander Kane. Of course, he got a little unlucky that his goal was disallowed, in my opinion. But it didn't matter because this team has Kiefer Sherwood. And again, just some crazy stats here. I will hit the stats button here. Canucks Citology here on Locked On Canucks, because this one's wild right here, okay? Kiefer Sherwood now with 9 goals on the season. Again, Reefer Madness in Vancouver, baby. Kiefer Sherwood with 9 goals in the season. The Canucks have scored 31 goals so far this year. Kiefer Sherwood is literally almost 1/3 of the Canucks offense. He's scored 29% of the Canucks goals this season. 29% of the goals have come from one player. That's insanity. And oh yeah, how about this for a stat? He's the Canucks' 10th highest paid forward. All right. Can you name the other 9 forwards making more money than Kiefer Sherwood? Think about it. It's madness here in Vancouver, and it's all because of Kiefer Sherwood. And again, right now, he's obviously feeling it, right? And you look, all 3 of those goals tonight scored in different fashions as well. Like he's not a one-trick pony either. And we know this guy's killing penalties. He's getting power play time. He's got some speed to his game. Elias Pettersson talked about that post-game after the Edmonton Oilers contest. But Kiefer Sherwood, the first goal of the game on the power play, banging it home in front of the net, getting greasy, okay? I like it when my players get greasy. Big, sweaty men getting greasy. I'm a fan of those things, all right? Second goal of the game, the breakaway. Boom, bam. goes in, another deke, another goal, and then, of course, his hat trick goal, roofing it over Jordan Bennington. Yeah, I still barely saw that puck go in the net. That was a wild shot right there. So I mentioned Todd Bertuzzi, and another guy that really I start thinking about when I see things like Kiefer Sherwood and what he's doing is Alex Burrows. And I'll be straight up, Todd Bertuzzi, Alex Burrows, my favorite Canucks of all time. Probably your favorite Canuck of all time, if not one of your favorite Canucks of all time, either one of those guys. And Alex Burrows was a guy too, undrafted, unwanted, of course, got his shot a little sooner than Kiefer Sherwood. He was 23 when he was a full-time player with the Vancouver Canucks. But again, like, it's really, for me, in terms of the best free agent signings in Canucks history, I think it's between Alex Burrows and Kiefer Sherwood. And it's not a long list outside of those guys. I mean, look, you talk about Chris Tanev or Dan Hamhuis. Maybe if you want to go back, like a Lars Lindgren, if you were watching hockey in the 80s, watching the Canucks wear these beautiful colors, the yellow, the red, the black. The list of marquee free agents that have smacked for this team beyond one season. Like, there's the one-hit wonders too, like Nikita Zadorov and the Anson Carters as well. But in terms of guys who have had staying power past one season with this club, for me, it's a clear-cut top two. It's Alex Burrows and it's Kiefer Sherwood. And look, both of those players had impacts all over the ice, right? Alex Burrows obviously complimenting the Sedin twins, but also getting greasy, throwing hits, getting under the opponent's skin, killing penalties, showing some speed. And oh yeah, does anybody celebrate harder than Kiefer Sherwood on the Vancouver Canucks? He gets his teammates jacked up, man. Like, you see this guy celebrating, and all of a sudden he's driving Ratu nuts and Drew O'Connor nuts. Man, hopefully some of the offense rubs off on those guys because the Canucks kind of need it right now. But Kiefer Sherwood, again, the story tonight for your Vancouver Canucks. But a few other things to touch on here on the postcast on Locked On Canucks, and I want to go to this. Let's talk about Adam Foote a little bit. Because, again, this is a rookie head coach, and he has been thrown a shit sandwich here. And look, there were some questionable things early on, like the use of Elias Pettersson, right? The rolling four lines when they were already starting to drop bodies like flies. And tonight, he's still kind of stuck with the rolling four lines, but just a couple small things to me that stood out. First and foremost, and I know Marco Terenius plays a role in this, but the decision to start Kevin Lankinen in net. I think this was something that was a bit contentious. I know Kyle Bowen. Where's Kyle standing up for himself now? I'm taking shots. Kyle Bowen wanted Thatcher Demko to start the next 8 games for the Canucks. No faith in Kevin Lankinen. And, it's a sports fan. Sometimes we do have frog brains, it's easy to get caught up in the here and now. It's easy to look at Kevin Lankinen's stat sheet and say, this guy's 1-3. He's got an .874 save percentage. He's not getting the job done. You need to roll with Thatcher Demko now. But you got to just believe in your guys. And last season, I think it bit him in the ass with Archer Shilovs a bit, right? Like, that was a guy who had a couple bad starts, never got in a rhythm. They never gave him the time of day. But Kevin Lankinen's a bit of a different cat, a bit more experienced. He's shown the ability to bounce back in games. He does not seem like a guy who gets rattled. He's not like Jacob Markstrom smashing his sticks in the post when he lets in an early goal, much like Kevin Lankinen did in this game tonight, right? And look, to be honest, there's probably a couple goals in this game Kevin Lankinen wants back, right? The Dylan Holloway one, the first one of the game, wasn't a fantastic one. I'm trying to remember the other guy who scored aside from Pius Suter, but that one, yeah, Jimmy Snuggerud's goal going down the wing. He might want that one back as well. But overall, the Canucks were outshot, 37-18 tonight? I don't have it in front of me here. 39-18. My bad. Nah, not giving the Blues enough credit here. But Kevin Lankinen shut the door. You're going to allow a couple goals when you allow 39 shots, right? Kevin Lankinen, after all, he's not Ken Dryden, rest in peace. He's not even Thatcher Demko. And by the end of the day, the St. Louis Blues tonight, 3.64 expected goals. Kevin Lankinen lets in 3. He shut the door just enough to give his team a chance to win. And oh yeah, by the way, he has stopped 7 straight shootout attempts to start the season. He's just not a dude that gets rattled, and that's the kind of guy you want in your net. And just some other small coach decisions for Foote, and then I'll cut to the other side here, get to report cards, get to some of your comments. Thanks for hanging out with us after a Canucks win, baby. Unbelievable. One interesting thing tonight, too. Let's look at the defense a bit, because you had 2 young defensemen, DPD, and Tom Melander, who were thrust into bigger roles. I don't want to say the bigger roles than they were ready for, but maybe bigger roles than they expected to have, especially Tom Melander, who said to the media, just a few days ago that he did not expect to be back up this soon. Even when I talked to him at the end of the preseason, he kind of talked about how the AHL would be a good thing for him. Honestly, you wouldn't have known that tonight. And look, this guy he's very quick on his feet. I think you could see some moments here where he just gets pinned on the boards a little too quick, but just making the smart plays at the right time, right? I really think the best comparable for Tom Melander for me is still Mike Matheson, right? Not a guy who's going to be a star in this league. I don't quite think he has the Brock Faber potential. By the way, we'll see Brock Faber on Monday. A lot of Wild fans think Brock Faber's ripped them off. That's a whole other story. But Tom Melander tonight, again, just making the smart play. Him and Marcus Pettersson, when they were out on the ice together, pretty good results overall. I know everyone on this team was K possession-wise tonight, but they were on the ice for no goals against, a 1 goal for, and again, just for the most part, held the fort down. Oh, yeah, by the way, in just his second career game, Tom Melander finishes with 19-12 of ice time. Gets a shift at 3-on-3 in this game as well. And the interesting thing about it was DPD finishes with just 12:08 tonight and 16 shifts, whereas every other Canucks defenseman was up over 21 shifts in this game. I'm not sure if Adam Foote was punishing DPD necessarily for injuring Brock Boeser earlier in this game, but just an interesting footnote there that Tom Melander plays 7.5 more minutes than DPD in this game. Just tuck that one in your back pocket for a later day, because that one to me was an interesting development tonight. But overall, again, a couple other things Foote did. RC Baines and Max Hassan, get the guys with speed out there, okay? Get the guys with speed out there in overtime. And I think a lot of coaches would just play their veterans there. Of course, Canucks are missing everyone, so it's easy to say, they had to play him, but you could have played Drew O'Connor. He didn't get any shifts in overtime. Evander Kane got out there late, but it was after Sasson. It was after Baines. Tom Melander, Max Hassan, RC Baines, all getting shifts in overtime. Again, I think that's a coach that's trusting guys based on what he's seeing and not just giving his veterans the bump. That's what you like to see, because I think that's one of the early mistakes that Foote has made, putting too much trust into guys like Evander Kane, who probably had one of his better games as a Canuck tonight, in fairness. And I've been ragging on the guy a bit here on Locked On Canucks. But a couple things there. The Langdon choice, trust in the young guys. I really like that from Adam Foote tonight. You know what else I really like? Canucks wins, baby. Let's go through the entire roster on the other side. I do want to get to some of your comments as well. Again, Trevor Beggsy here on Locked On Canucks. No Kyle Bowen. But I'm still here, baby, because I'm a fan first. Again, pause for an ad break here. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. All right, the Canucks, man, oh man, they were underdogs in this game, baby. So if you hopped on FanDuel and placed a bet on your Vancouver Canucks, they're plus 132 to win this game, you would have more than doubled your money. And if you're betting on sports, please make sure you go check out FanDuel, okay? Whether it's NBA, NFL, the Baltimore Ravens, putting a smack job on the Miami Dolphins tonight. I love the Dolphins jerseys, man, but it's just not a very threatening team, okay? And of course, NBA and the World Series is back tomorrow. The BJs, man. Everyone loves a BJ here in Canada, for the most part, at least. Maybe there's a couple people that don't. But whatever you're betting on, make sure you do it on FanDuel. If you miss the start of the game, you can place live bets in-game, and you can even combine your bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps the game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers not $100, not $200, but $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com and sign up to play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right. We're back here on Locked On Canucks. I'm Trevor Beggs, and it looks like I got Kyle Bowen with me, pulled over from a mid-card jerk just to talk about reefer madness here in Vancouver. I know I spent probably the first 7-8 minutes of the show just getting horny over reefer madness in Vancouver, man. And what a story. 9 goals on the season. Kyle's about to do report cards, but if you got some audio going there, just spill out some thoughts, man. How you feeling? What's going on? And have you gotten the Kiefer Sherwood tattoo yet?
Well, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiefer Sherwood, let us know in the comments. Do we sign him for $5 million a year? Or do we trade him for a first and third round pick? AKA, if we're rebuilding, we trade Kiefer. If we're keeping Hughes, you got to keep Kiefer. And, there's always this talk about acquiring star players and or just cracking jokes of like, oh, this is all the Canucks got. Like, why would Quinn Hughes want to stay here? We only got Elias. We only got Demko. Like, who knows what you have in DeBrusque and Boeser? Blah, 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 right? Oh, no, we have Kiefer Sherwood, too. Like, that guy is a legitimate NHLer. And Trevor, like, I'll throw this to you with this question, but if the Vancouver Canucks can lose to Tim Thomas and the Boston Bruins back in 2011, a.k.a. a player who found his game in his, early 30s, mid-30s, like what was it, right? I'm not going to sit here and just write off Kiefer Sherwood later into his career or like entering his mid-30s because his shooting percentage is high. It's like, no, maybe this guy loves the game of hockey so much, and he's going to capitalize, A, off his confidence, B, the moment, and the fact that he's getting the opportunity. And again, the way this guy competes and his motor and his makeup as a person, from what I'm getting when he steps in front of the camera, like, yo, this guy loves hockey. And I feel like he's not going to let go of what's going on right now. Like, this guy, again, he's momentous right now, but his skill set can line up to keeping this up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, what a incredible performance tonight. And Kyle, I think what you're saying is age is just a number, right? Come on, man. Age is just a number, us, 32 and a half year olds over here. Kiefer Sherwood, he's supposed to be washed out at 30 years old, right? Age rated NHL, who's 27, 28 years old. And here's Kiefer Sherwood having an absolute season.
And Trevor, you know what I hate about this is, like, again, like, and this is not just for our sake. I'm just talking about Kiefer in general moving forward, because a lot of people are throwing those things out there, like his shooting percentage and he's on a heater and this and that, and he's going to regress and he's going to regress. And it's like a bunch of nerds and podcasters and YouTubers who know how to use Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Premiere and www.spotifyforpodcasters.com. Like, we know, like, us nerds are making these projections when it's like, yo, this guy's a killer athlete. Like,
100%.
He's just got that dog mentality. Like, I don't want to doubt this guy right now, because he's been climbing up the ladder and he's done whatever it takes to get to this point. And you saw last year with the 20 goals. I'm sorry.
20 girls. Whoa.
20 goals almost. He impressed Quinn Hughes the year before. And now then, like, you look at his 9 goals this year and his 19 that he scored last year. Like, Trevor, like, there's been a lot of, like, beautiful goals coming off his stick.
Yeah,
right.
I know, and I said that kind of in the first segment, Kyle, but 3 very different goals tonight, right? The greasy one in front, the breakaway goal, and then the snipe show from the top circle, right? 3 very different goals. Kiefer Sherwood can do it all. Speaking of all, let's go through all the players here with our 5-ish minutes for report cards. All right, 5-ish minutes for report cards here on Locked On Canucks. Scott, I don't know if you can see. I think I'll run through it. You just cut me off. Try to keep it at 5-ish minutes here. I didn't talk about Tom Willander with the first part of this episode, but getting great on a bit of a curve, right? But for his second NHL game, like almost 20 minutes tonight for Tom Willander. Really solid night overall. I'm going to give him an A- tonight. Like, I thought he was, really showcased his skating. Some rookie moments, but for the most part, really strong showing from Tom Willander. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, it's a bit of an adventure.
I want to cut you off there. Because I actually got to go work out. I got to go lift some weight and, improve my testosterone. I saw ChatGPT. I'm like, yo, how do I improve that? They're like, yo, just make sure you don't give up on your goals. Tom Willander, and I'm going to leave you after this point. I do want you to touch on this just a little bit. But Tom Willander, remember when Thomas Drance came up with that weird, like, statistic or weird metric when he's like, guys like Tom Willander don't play in the AHL for a long time. And he was saying that in the middle of Willander not, like, exceeding expectations at camp. But he still, like, he was trying to, like, make a point. I didn't get it. And then you look at Tom Willander this year, not the best AHL defenseman, still learning, gets the shot because of the injuries. And, again, not the perfect player right now. Still a young defenseman, 20, 21 years old, whatever it is. But the fact that he's played 2 straight really clean games, in my opinion. Like, where you can see his athleticism, and you can also see that he's poised enough not to be a dumbass, not to be scared of the moment. Like, look at a guy like P.O. Joseph, right? Like, he's not doing stuff like that. He's not even doing stuff like to Tyler Myers. I'm starting to believe in this guy like this year, man. That's all I'm saying. I think a guy like this can capitalize on the confidence, and like he can kind of start believing in himself. Like, oh, I could actually do this right now. Like, maybe I don't have to take all this time to learn because instinctually I've been this guy and I can do this. I've proven to myself to some extent I can do this at the NHL level, and maybe he can just capitalize off that realization after with that confidence. And again, his instincts start kicking in. He doesn't think the game too much, and before you know it, like, we get the best version of Tom Melander ASAP. I gotta go. Peace.
Yeah. One love to you, Kyle. Locked On Canucks, Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs. Yeah, Tom Melander, like I said before, had a great night tonight. And Thomas Strantz's point before was really the fact that AHL defensemen like Tom Melander and their draft plus 2 year, like, they usually crack the show at this age, and the ones that go to the AHL aren't star players, right? Like the Jake Sandersons, they don't play in the AHL. I can't remember the other guys he had. It was like a list of kind of middling defensemen. But anyways, Tom Melander, like, look, everyone's got a different path to the NHL, so let's not pigeonhole Tom Melander into a spot. Again, thought he had a fantastic night for the Vancouver Canucks. And there you go, 4.5 minutes into 5 minutes for a report spent talking about Tom Melander. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, a bit of an adventure out there with him, but still interesting that he played more than DPD tonight. I thought he was kind of at fault for 2 of the goals, getting lost in the play. But his parents in the building can't be too mean. Let's give him a C overall. RC Baines, I'd give a C+. I mean, that's the thing about RC Baines right now. He makes some great plays on the boards. He makes some great pivots, finds guys in open space, but you just want to see a bit more finish and a bit more threat in terms of scoring. But look, I like the way his game's trending, and I do hope that, him, Carlson, Sasson, those guys can make more of an impact before some body starts to return for your Vancouver Canucks. C+ for RC Baines. Philip Roenick doing it all for this team, playing almost 30 minutes a night. Just makes a smart play. You see him trying to make some Quinn Hughes-esque moves out there too. The spins at the blue line. He doesn't have the speed to pull it off, but man, oh man, he's giving it his all. I love the effort. I'm giving Philip Roenick an A tonight. Drew O'Connor, I think his game's been trending in the right direction, and it helps that he gets a little bit of help on his stat sheet by assisting on Kiefer Sherwood goals. Again, I think Drew O'Connor's starting to do better things for this team. I know the fancy stats. Screw the stats tonight, man. Drew O'Connor, give him a B-. Mackenzie McEachran. Let's talk about that goalie interference for a second, because this one has to be one of the dumbest things in the NHL. Why does goalie interference make no sense? So McEachran skates into the crease. His ankle might have made a bit of contact with Binnington's ankle, but it gets out of the play, and Binnington has time to set. The puck goes in, but it's still called goalie interference. Like, should there not be a rule? Make it a little bit more clear cut. The interference actually has to impede with the goalie making a stop. And I guess the refs argue that it did, which is absolute bullshit to me. Make goalie interference make sense. Anyways, Mackenzie McEachran, welcome to being the 29th Canuck forward to play a game this season, 20th Canuck player to play a game this season. I give him a C+. DPD, getting injured Brock Boeser. The ice time's a bit low. It was hard to notice him as much tonight. I give him a C overall. Marcus Pettersson, 2 minor penalties. I think both of those penalties turned into goals, if I'm not mistaken. Just based on how depleted this Canucks team is right now, that's not a guy who could be taking penalties. And I know he argued about his penalties, but man, oh man, he's got to play a bit smarter. It was one of those nights, and it's been a few of them this season, where Tyler Myers has looked like more of the Canucks' number 3 defenseman, with Hughes being healthy, than Marcus Pettersson has. I'd give Marcus Pettersson a C. Yeah, let's stick with C tonight. Elias Pettersson. Look, he gets overshadowed by the fact that Kiefer Sherwood is doing what he does. There just hasn't been as much threat with him. The floor's there. It's kind of the same Pettersson we've seen. Like, he's playing well, but he's not at a superstar level. Let's give him a B overall. Kiefer Sherwood, man. Never mind the A+, man. I'm going to go clean this guy's bathroom, man. I'll cook him meals. Dude, I'll cook him my meatloaf. I haven't even cooked Kyle Bowen my meatloaf yet. Come on, man. A++. Atu Ratu. I got to give him a B just for the draws, man. Just killing out there. I think Atu Ratu has still been a bit of an adventure out there. Like, the foot speed hasn't been great. There's not much offense there, but man, oh man, the Canucks need someone to win draws, and he's playing a role in that department right now. Tyler Myers has definitely some chaotic moments out there. There was one play, I think, in the end of the third period, where he almost just like pushes the puck onto the Blues player's stick. try and get out of the zone. But just some nifty plays on the boards, some nifty plays in the offensive zone. Again, trying to do the most for a team that is missing so many guys right now. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of falling in love with Tyler Myers' game tonight. I love the effort. I love the care level. And I thought he threatened a few times offensively, which is something this team needs. So I would give Tyler Myers an A-. I might get some heat for in the comments. I don't care. Max Sasson, again, credit to Max Sasson for showing the speed, having a floor, and playing overtime shifts for this team. Let's give him a B-. Lucas Reichel, still a bit of an adventure, but you like the speed. I'm going to give him a C tonight. Jake DeBrusk, OT winner. Again, it just hasn't been clicking much from at 5-on-5, but I do feel like he's trying more. I'm going to give him a C as well. Evander Kane, I'm going to give him a B-. Some turnovers tonight, but really good on the forecheck. Probably should have had the game-winning goal in this game. I still think that call was bullshit. One of Kane's better games as a Canuck. Linus Karlsson, I think he's getting lost in the shuffle a bit out there. I'd give him a C. And Kevin Lankinen, let's give him an A- for the performance tonight. That's 5 minutes for report cards. Going to take a quick break. Coming up on the other side, you're going to run the show. Let's get to some of your comments. Hopefully a lot of your comments here on Locked On Canucks. Before we get back to the show, let's talk about the monies, baby. And I'm talking about our friends over at Monarch Money. Most people don't even know what their financial accounts are, what they're named, investments, properties. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of, okay? But that's why Monarch Money is there for you. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool to help make your life easier, okay? So you can keep it all in motion, keep it all clean, keep your finances in order without ever touching a spreadsheet. And you know the deal, okay? I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I need that help from Monarch. And Monarch has also allowed me to pair my accounts with my wife's. All right? Easing that stress. Allow me to get to more lovemaking, baby. 43 seconds longer. 44 seconds longer now, thanks to Kiefer Sherwood. That's the power of Monarch. So make sure you ease your stress and don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off of your first year, baby. All right, we're back here on Locked On Canucks. I'm talking it's the Royal Week. Kyle Bowen, he says he's working out. I think he's still just trying to finish jerking off in his car, but it don't matter. After the Canucks win on a night like tonight, I hope he smokes the reefer madness and does whatever his heart desires. Speaking of what you desire, let's get to it, okay? Here in the comments on Locked On Canucks. Let's go to Mike Laval first. Shout out to a Discord member. Join the Discord, link in the bio. Talk Canucks hockey with the best Canuck fans in the world. Mike Laval saying, Willander is going to be a good number 4. His hockey IQ is too high for anything less. I think that is probably the floor for Tom Willander. I think there's potential for him to be like a Philip Peronic type, to be a really solid number 2 defenseman who can kind of even maybe pinch hit as a number 1 in situations like this. I'm not going to say that's the most likely outcome for Tom Willander, but I think he's got the ability with the speed, with the vision, again, the playmaking, that might come more. He's only 20 years old, but I think he's got the ability to be a number 2 at some point. But the number 4, I would say, is the floor for Tom Willander. Let's get to Ryan Pombert in the comments, okay? Taking some shots. Taking some shots. I like it, man. He's saying this team is too soft, too busy putting makeup and Band-Aids. Media is underplaying guys like Sherwood, like they used to trash Burrows. Look at me. Now a member of the big bad media. You can tell if you can see my face on YouTube, or maybe it's by the sound of my voice, very intimidating guy. About Connor Garland's size, very, and Connor Garland packs a punch, man. So there you go. The big bad media. Look, Sherwood deserves the love. I think Bro's got a lot of love from the media, to be honest. Maybe there's a couple old frogs in there that didn't like him as much, but man, oh man, it's hard not to love those guys. And look, most media, I think back in the day, maybe it was a bit different, but most media are fans. Come on. I've met a couple media members who are in Vancouver because, the jobs took them there. They, interviewed, they won the opportunity. They're not necessarily hardcore Canucks fans, but for the most part, it's pretty diehard Canucks fans that are in media. And I've always said I'm fan first. I will always be fan first. Again, I stepped away from the rink, man. for a couple of days because I had a cold because I don't want to get the boys sick. And look, Le Primo saying in the comments, shout out to Le Primo. Welcome back, buddy. Maybe you never left. Who knows? Saying most media are so negative because they're fans. And dude, round of applause, man. Round of applause for negativity. What? Yeah, no, it's you listen to Locked On Canucks after a loss. It's a very different version of Kyle and I. Maybe more different of Kyle. I think Kyle's a little more emotional than I am. But look, losing sucks. No one likes to lose. I think players don't like to lose, right? Look, Kiefer Sherwood was pissed that he didn't get the shootout winner in this game, right? There's a competitive nature in all of us to different extents, and I think it's no different in the media. It's no different for podcasters. Look, we do this because we love our team for the most part. Let's see what else we got in the comments, all right? A few more here on Locked On Canucks, baby. Let's go. Thanks for listening. Let's go, baby. Shane in the comments asking, is it Willander or Villander? It's supposed to be Villander, like the soft V. I even asked Canucks PR about this. I think John Shorthouse nailing the pronunciation. Man, oh man. And the hype train for Tom Willander getting out of control. High bird. Man, oh man. He's really smoking the reefer madness. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, man. Willander is our future. What can we get for Quinn? Trade Quinn. Oh my God. 2 games of Tom Willander, man. And we got fans calling for trading Quinn Hughes. Look, I'm saving that conversation for another day because right now the Canucks are 6-6. They are fighting tooth and nail for points right now. I think when you have a roster that's depleted, again, you don't care about the stats. You don't care how they win. You just want them to win. And hopefully when they get guys that get at least Hughes and Garland back, hopefully if it's nothing serious with Boeser, again, no announcement at the time I went recording here. Hopefully if they get some of those guys back, you can do something to get out of the mushy middle, right? It's going to take more from Pettersson. It's going to take all 3 of those guys I mentioned to step up. It's going to take some more of the depth guys to start providing more offense, right? It can't just be the reefer madness show every single night. I don't think he's going to score 70 goals this season, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said it. But the Canucks need other guys to step up for now. But for now, it's about weathering the storm. Man, oh man. Last one to Aaron Phillip, the mayor of Surrey. I like the video to heal Filipino. That's true, man. Let's say a little prayer for Filipino right now and get out of here on Locked On Canucks. All right, I gotta take out of here and smoke a reefer Sherwood. What? This is another episode of Locked On Canucks. One love to you and you for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, you can share this episode with a friend, share with a colleague, share with your mom. Okay, my mom listens. I know lots of other moms that listen, okay? Moms are a big fan of Locked On Canucks, so share it with your mom, family, friends. If you like the show and you're watching on YouTube, you can hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. You can subscribe to the channel as well. It also helps. On the podcast side, you can follow us and leave a 5-star review. I'm Trevor Beggs. One love to you, one love to Reefer Sherwood, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.